right, we got to give a big congratulations to the brand new #1 movie in America. That would be Mercy with $11 million. That's not a win. It's not a victory lap. That's the box office equivalent of finding a quarter in your couch and calling it a financial rebound. Like, hey, honey, cancel the bankruptcy because we're back. I found lint, 2 pennies, and a Cheez-It. And here's the kicker. The movie just, I'm going to quote here, air quotes, beat James Cameron's Avatar. 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, B- cinema score. The audience literally graded it a B-. That's the I guess you tried of movie grades. Mother Nature just did what no studio could do all month. She cleared the competition by shutting down 400 theaters from Texas to Maine. So let's do it. Let's crack open the weekend, do a quick autopsy, and figure out what actually happened because Hollywood's already warming up the excuses. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Critical Nerd. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome home, you glorious masochist. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is where we break down pop culture, entertainment, box office numbers, and corporate chaos with receipts, a little bit of sarcasm, and just a hint of how is this industry real? So if you enjoy box office autopsies and Hollywood math they don't want you to do me a favor. This helps out with the algorithm. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next meltdown. So, gloves on and let's get into it. The headline, it's pretty simple. Movie goes #1 and the internet goes, oh wow, we have a surprise winner. No. You don't. This is not a surprise winner. This is the box office saying, please, sir, I'm unwell. Let's break down the actual numbers here. At #1, we have Mercy coming in with $11.2 million at the box office. That's Amazon MGM's AI courtroom thriller starring Chris Pratt as a detective on trial before an AI judge played by Rebecca Ferguson. The budget, $60 million. The reviews, 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience reception, B- cinema score, which for those keeping track is Hollywood speak for please, for the love of God, please stop talking about this movie. #2, we have Avatar Fire and Ash, dropped to $7 million in weekend 6. Total domestic is now $379 million with about $1 billion overseas. Sounds pretty impressive until you remember the first Avatar made $2.9 billion. Way of the Water made $2.3 billion, and this one, well, currently sitting at $1.38 billion worldwide. That's nearly $1 billion behind the original, and James Cameron knows it. His exact words this month, and I quote, "The movie industry is depressed right now. Avatar 3 cost a lot of money. We have to do well in order to continue. And we need to figure out how to make Avatar movies more inexpensively." James Cameron talking about budget cuts? That's like McDonald's announcing they're looking into salads. Something has fundamentally shifted. And speaking of things going poorly, 28 years later, The Bone Temple continues its free fall with $3.6 million, down 70% from last weekend. That's only $21 million total after 10 days. For context, the first 28 years later made $30 million in its opening weekend alone last summer. Yeah, Sony's not having a very good time right now. No, they're not. So the total weekend box office, well, $58 million. That's the entire top 10 combined. That's not just soft. That's the box office equivalent of a bake sale that raised $12 and a coupon for a free oil change. Now, to be fair, gotta say, don't say this very often, there was a legitimate monster storm this weekend. States of emergency in 15 states with over 140 million Americans under winter storm warnings. And according to ComScore, somewhere between 250 and 400 theaters shut down entirely from Texas to Maine. AMC closed 59 locations, Cinemark closed 24, and those are just the major chains. Now, I'm going to say something that will shock Hollywood executives. If you close theaters, you sell fewer movie tickets. I know, I'm basically a wizard at this point. You remove screens, you remove showtimes, you remove walk-ups, you remove casual let's go to the movie crowds. So when people start comparing this weekend to some normal weekend and screaming, the audience hates movies now, slow down, pause, give it a beat. This weekend is not a clean data point. This is like checking your car's top speed while the car's stuck in a snowbank. But here's the thing. The studios, well, they know this happens every January. This isn't a surprise to them. The biggest clue is that a systemic problem and not just weather. It's not just one movie underperforming, it's everything underperforming. When the entire top 10 looks tired, that's not just this movie sucks, that's a market condition. This wasn't just a weather weekend, this was a stress test, and January failed it. All right, let's talk about the bigger issue here. January has become basically the industry's junk drawer, so to speak. You know that drawer in your kitchen, the one with rubber bands, dead batteries, takeout menus from 2019, and a screwdriver that doesn't fit anything? That's January releases in a nutshell. And this isn't just me being cynical. That's literally what industry analysts call it, the dump months. And I quote, January and February are when studios dump their discards, the movies they have low hopes for and want to disavow. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Studios release weaker movies in January. Audiences learn January isn't worth leaving the house for. Studios see lower numbers and go, see, told you, January's dead. And then they dump even harder the next year. It's not really a strategy. That's learned helplessness with a marketing budget. Now add the modern problem. Audiences have been trained to wait because everything hits digital fast. People know they can just sit on their couch and go, I'll watch it in 3 weeks with sweatpants and $9 nachos I made at home. And speaking of waiting, look at Amazon. They're a $2.5 trillion company. Theatrical for them is just marketing for Prime Video. They explicitly said that if the theatrical run recoups P&A expenses, they're happy. The movie is going to streaming regardless. So Mercy gets put #1 movie in America on its poster. That's technically true. It's also completely meaningless because nobody was at the theater, and Amazon doesn't care either way. Here's where Hollywood keeps face planting, though. They don't have a weather problem. They don't have a people don't like movies problem. They have a, well, just say it, a trust problem. People aren't skipping January because they hate theaters. They're skipping January because studios condition them to believe January is where movies go to die. This weekend wasn't an anomaly. It was a diagnostic report. And it basically said, your theatrical business is so thin right now that snow can kneecap it. Okay, enough of the bad stuff. Let's get into the good stuff, the solutions. How do we fix this problem? Because I know some studio executive is watching this like, okay, nerd, what do you want us to do? Make better movies? Well, yeah, make better movies. In fact, let's get specific about it. Fix #1, stop dumping mediocrity in January. If you want audiences in January, you need at least one thing that feels like an event, a crowd pleaser. A movie audiences trust won't waste their time. Not content, not product, a movie. Horror movies like Megan and Scream have proven audiences will show up in January if you give them something worth showing up for. Fix #2, create a January event lane. Stop surrendering January like it's lost cause. Pick a lane. Big action thriller, smart comedy, high concept sci-fi, a real franchise entry that doesn't feel like a hostage note to fans. Fix #3, price and value strategies that don't insult people. Studios and theaters love to guilt audiences. They're always like, hey, support cinema. Okay, sure. But support cinema hits different when the total is $70 and you're holding a single soda and a small popcorn. If fast food can do value menus, theaters can stop acting like a medium drink is a luxury item. Fix #4, Stop yanking everything to digital instantly. When something works, let it breathe. If you want audiences to think theatrical matters, treat theatrical like it matters. Fix number 5, marketing honestly. Stop selling culture war. Stop bait and switch trailers. Stop promising one movie and delivering another. Market the fun, market the experience, make the audience feel like going to the theater is worth it. Because right now, too many people feel like the theater is where you go to pay extra money to be disappointed sooner. So here's the takeaway. A number one movie at around $11 million is not a flex. It's a flare gun. Weather didn't cause the box office to collapse. Weather exposed how fragile the weekend already was. January is broken because studios broke it, then blamed audiences for noticing. James Cameron is questioning Avatar's future. Sony horror sequel is in a free fall, and the winner is a movie that most audiences rated a B-. That's not a box office story. That's a eulogy for theatrical January. So let me ask you, what would you release in January to actually get people off the couch? A comedy, an action thriller, a real franchise event? Drop your pick in the comments because honestly, you guys probably have better scheduling instincts than half of Hollywood. And if you enjoyed this box office autopsy, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and share this with a friend who still thinks the number one movie at $11 million is good news. That's it for today. I'm the Critical Nerd, and I will see you in the next one.